This is the Paranormal Report. Welcome to the Paranormal Report. I'm Jim Harold.
I'm Dar Harold, and we're back.
Yeah, and we're sick. Oh, no, we're...
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
That's funny. Right on cue. No, actually, we both had horrible colds now. We went on a big 30th anniversary trip, and if you want to know where, listen to our Behind the Scenes podcast that comes out tomorrow.
And what happened. Yeah.
And what happened. We're going to leave that. Our Plus members can hear all about that on Behind the Scenes coming out tomorrow. But during this big 30th anniversary trip, we both got horribly sick. And at first, I had it worse, then you had it worse, then you kept it worse up until like last week. And now I still have it going on. It's really weird. And it's not COVID. We checked for it. So that's why you've not seen any shows. That's not why you've seen anything. I mean, we've had Campfire Paranormal Podcast, the Plus Club shows, but this show has been missing in action. But we're back, and we'll be back going forward. But there you have it.
And this is going to be a special episode.
Yes.
And we're dedicating this to the UFO files that were released, specifically the ones that were released first on May 8th.
Yeah, because there's so many, we can't do all of them. And you'll see, I mean, we're kind of fumbling our way through these because they're very obtuse. But we just want to give you a flavor because I haven't seen in the mainstream media, maybe News Nation, but the people haven't said, okay, well, here's this file, let's take a little bit of a look at it and those kind of things as much. But before we get to that, we do have some news this week, but go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, some independent people have gone through, and I think they've gone through every file. There's 17 or 18 pages just in the first release. Like Jim said, we're going to try to bring you some of the more shocking ones if you want. There are pages and pages of bad, grainy photos. That I went through. It's like, what do we want? Yeah. What are we looking at here? Also, if you do go to that site, it's war.gov/UFO. And that's where you can see all the releases. They give zero narrative. They just basically tell you, this is the file. This is what, like the description of the file. And that is it. So,
and trying to find anything in it is like a needle in a haystack. And I think it's intentional. It's kind of like, let's hide everything in plain sight. If they want the files, let's give them files. We don't have to explain much about them. We don't have to explain the context. Here's the files.
Or when they were even like happening, because it's all out of order too.
Yeah. So let's not make it easy. You could be truthful, but not helpful, I think a former president once said.
See, and now they, normally they like you to be brainless and whatever and spoon feed you the information. But with these releases and files, they're not doing that. So now you have to turn on your noggin and start going through it. And
how many people have the time to do that?
Zero.
I mean, we had a hard time finding
It's taken us weeks and weeks. We started this before we even left on vacation.
Yeah. And we've been distracted, though, you have to admit, between the sickness and trying to get the other shows out. So we're not at our best.
No, we're not at our best. And also, this is complicated, as you'll see, because we're going to try to show you.
Yeah, we have like 20 or 30 different elements in this show to show you. So if it's not production perfect, I'm not Joe Rogan. I don't have Jamie to pull everything up. I am Jamie.
We have nobody. He is Jamie.
Yeah, I am Jamie. But kudos to Dar. She really pulled out the individual files and things. I just
I went through so many pages, and you're going to see at the end we have a perfect example of what you would find in some of these files.
And I think it's a microcosm explaining what they're doing here. But first, there is some news. One news item we want to cover this week because it was big news. This was on June 9th. That would have been, it was on Monday, I believe it was. Basically, there were a group of people, including many Congress people and David Grush, that UFO whistleblower, gathered at the U.S. Capitol. It was on Tuesday, actually. And this is from News Nation, and we'll have the link in the show notes. But basically, they want more transparency. And David Grush actually said that the government is aware of several kinds of ET life ranging in complexity. But he did alongside Congress people. So they must believe him, because why would they appear on a dais with a person who was spouting lies? So they must believe Grush. For example, Eric Burleson, the Republican from Missouri, said for decades the American people have been treated like children, told their government secrets they just don't get to know. And he agreed with Representative Luna and said that President Trump should waive all non-disclosure agreements for UFO whistleblowers to allow them to speak freely. And what I like about this, it's not just the Republicans, it's Democrats too. Representative Jared Moskowitz from Florida said, the American people deserve to know. Disclosure today, disclosure tomorrow. And it's interesting. Grush said the topics we're discussing here today go beyond life in the universe. Ooh. And he also said that political appointees have not complied with disclosure law. And I absolutely believe that. I think that there are people, despite regulations, that they are supposed to disclose. I think they're foot dragging. I think they're obfuscating, and they're only doing as little as possible. It's just something else.
Yeah. Well, it is. Yep. Well, and I kind of have been saying this on our virtual campfire group. If you're not there, you're missing out. It's free.
Virtualcampfiregroup.com, virtualcampfiregroup.com.
The movie Disclosure Day is coming out tomorrow, June 12th. I think actually they have some early showings today on the 11th.
And we're actually going to go see it. We're going to go see it.
We are going to go see it tomorrow. Northeast Ohio area, come join us. You'll find the information on Virtual Campfire Group where we will be. But I'm curious, and what do you guys say? Are we going to see more disclosure coming out because of the movie? Are they going to hide more things because of the movie? How are people going to react? How is it going to be presented? We already know a review came out from a bunch of different reviewers, and quote, goofy popcorn movie was given one quote, and the other one was about the hoaxes of Roswell and
the two biggest hoaxes were
the two biggest hoaxes.
Which, crop circles, okay. Yes, some crop circles have been hoaxed, absolutely. Do we know that they're all hoax? No, we don't know that. Roswell was not a hoax. Now, there's an open question to what happened, but something very strange happened. And all I know is that when it happened, immediately they put out a press release that there was a flying disc. The government, the military, put out a press release saying there was a flying disc. And then suddenly, the next morning, it turned into a weather balloon. So Roswell is not a hoax. Now, exactly what it is still an open question, but it's not a hoax. That's a total misrepresentation of the facts.
I do want to give credit to Peter Bradshaw from The Guardian said that. He also said, he gave it 4 stars. He said he had fun with the, quote, very enjoyable and entirely ridiculous space alien conspiracy adventure.
Yeah. It
go
sounds
bury
like
your head some more, you idiot. Would you, what? I would far more respect that review had you gone through 17 pages of files and looked at what actually has been occurring for years and years and years, and then give your review, because
he's
you
too
don't
intelligent.
have a clue.
He's
buddy.
Too intelligent. He's so more intelligent than we are.
Yeah. Okay. Well, come debate me anytime, because I get infuriated with stupidity.
I agree. I did want to get one other, not quote, but paraphrase from this article from News Nation.
Yeah.
Representative Burchett, who's been a big champion of UFO disclosure, decried roadblocks, saying if lawmakers toured Area 51, all they would get is a T-shirt because the government would move everything else. And I will say this, and I don't want to get too political, but people in the Republican Party, if the president is not doing a good job in disclosure and he's just paying lip service to, they need to call him out. And I think that and this goes with any standing president. So this isn't just I'm not just saying this against Trump. I'd say the same thing if it were Biden or Obama or Clinton, whoever. The standing president has a tremendous amount of party power in their party, and even more so with Trump with the Republicans. So if these Republican Congress people feel that Trump is dragging his feet or just playing lip service, they need to do it publicly and say, President Trump, you need to step up. But I think they're afraid of him. As honestly, if it were a Democrat administration, the representatives would be afraid of the standing president, because what the president will do is the next time the election rolls around, they'll get him primaried and get another person from that party endorse a different person, and they're out of office. So it's probably a lot of self-preservation. But I'd love for somebody to stand up and say, President Trump, appreciate the disclosure that we're getting so far. We need more. And Burgess kind of said that without calling out Trump, but I don't know. Anyway.
Government is government, Jim, and it really doesn't matter, because whoever's the standing president, it doesn't matter, because they've got a bunch of little, like...
I don't think a
bunch of little people under him, and they are the ones calling the
bureaucrats.
shot. They call the shots, honey. They say, President Trump, we would like to release this. And he'll say, okay, or I don't want that. And that's how it works. But they're the ones that are determining what actually is getting released. Well, a lot of times I do think people at higher levels want things, and people at lower levels are stopping it. I do believe that. Oh, for sure.
The biggest power in the presidents come and go. Congress people come and go. Bureaucrats are forever.
You got it. And what about the wonderful lobbyists and everybody else that's controlling everything with their nice green money? Yeah. Because that's the answer. It's money. It has nothing to do with anything else.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And a lot of people think money's behind a lot of this because of the defense contractors and the idea that some of the stuff has been hidden in the mechanisms of the defense.
Yes.
And that goes back to
the Age of Disclosure movie that we saw.
Right.
If you watch that, that's a good one to watch, because he really does lay out how all the different departments are actually involved. Department of Energy, and very interesting.
We got to get going on these.
I know. Well, go ahead.
All right. So this first one, this is like, of the videos, I think this one is the most striking.
This went mainstream.
Yeah. And
one of the only ones, I think, that went mainstream.
We'll cue it up and we'll talk about. I have the wrong video, I think.
No, you don't. It starts out like that.
Yeah.
It starts out like this.
This is the star video, I guess it's been termed.
It's from the Middle East, 2013.
Yeah, look at that.
It's an 8-pointed star with arms of alternating length.
Yeah. This one was almost frightening to me. This was like, ooh, it gives me the willies looking at it.
What is that, right?
Yeah. Now, could it be a military craft of some kind? Maybe some experimental?
But wouldn't they know?
Right.
See, this is what annoys me, honey. I don't understand. Yeah. Like, come on, you have intelligence in every other country. They have intelligence people here spying on us. You mean to tell me we wouldn't know that they had something like this in another country?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's bizarre looking, and I don't know.
Not so much now, because I've seen it a few times, but it freaked me out the first time I saw it.
Well, and look at the way it's kind of just hovering and it's
moving.
Oh, look, it's got some little trails.
I'm not aware of any other.
Look at how it can just stop on a dime and move in the other position.
I'm not aware of any kind of aircraft. You're going to see a lot of that
today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, again, you mentioned that was from the Middle East from 2023, correct?
2013.
2013, I'm sorry. And that's the thing. There's not a lot of
unresolved UAP report.
Yeah.
So
there's not a lot of context on a lot of these things. We don't get a lot of context.
We do not.
So yeah, it is. It's weird, wild stuff for sure. Now we have a next up. We have a PDF that we want to talk about, and this one, this is that checklist. Unidentified flying object. Is that correct? Is that the one that's next?
No. It should be the box incident.
The box
incident summaries, bunch of pages.
Yeah, that's the same thing. I was just reading the description instead. So we'll bring that up and we'll take a look at that. All right.
I've got all kinds. We have a lot of moving parts. Yeah, this is what the file looks like. So if you go to war.gov/UFO, you have this wonderful file. It says restricted. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to remember what year this was from, because I think it was from the 40s.
Yeah, this is Leland statement taken from Leland Salmons.
Just a comment. 1948, February 18th. Okay.
Yeah, and here's a letter in regard. Where do you want to stop this? Right, maybe here.
Wait a minute. Let's see. Where are we? That's good. Let's just go there. I'm just going to read some of it to you guys. We're just kind of showing you some of them. So we're kind of happy that we're able to do some of this. Yeah, it was over northern Kansas. There were some. I included this because it was very interesting how this was done. It said was just that inasmuch as meteorites have been recovered from it. There were found beginning April 24th, first several smaller fragments up to one of 4.5 pounds. Then a disturbed spot in a clover field led to the digging up of a piece of some 109 pounds embedded about 2 feet in the soil. Goes on, a photograph of the trail of the meteor made by amateur photographer Dwayne Ray of Norton shows the vapor trail left in the sky. By the explosion of a meteor, which was seen in Oklahoma, New Mexico, Colorado, Kansas, and Nebraska. It was made at Ray's home, 9 miles north of Norton, a smidge of blue smoke. That's not why I put this in here. So it's got his testimony of what he was seeing. He said, I was standing near my hog pen about 100 feet east of my house when I heard the pheasants raising a disturbance and the chickens all rushed to the chicken house. I looked around toward the house to see what was causing it and saw something hovering just above the house. I ran toward the house and it then lowered over the north end of the house and settled toward the ground. I was then very near it, approximately 6 feet, when it stopped about level with my face and just wobbled around for an instant, fire belching out of it and sucking back in. The thing was about 4 feet long, shaped something like a funnel. There was a pipe sticking out the back of it, and once, as it wobbled around, the pipe was sticking right at my belly. Suddenly, there was a lot of sparks showered from it, and fire increased as if a fuse might have lighted, and it took off in a northwesterly direction very fast, gaining altitude as it went. My wife heard it leave and ran out where I stood, and we watched it go, leaving a trail of smoke all the way. Suddenly, there was a great cloud of smoke in the sky, not more than 40 seconds after it left my yard, and in a few seconds more, we heard an explosion. I then stopped off from my house to where it had been, and it was 5 steps. Yes, it was hot. I could feel the heat from it. Had I not been washing my car prior to the occurrence, wetting the ground, there would have been a bare spot in the yard where the thing started up because there was a great rush of fire from it when it left, and it was quite high when it exploded. So there's other people, and you go through this, and there's other people they saw the same thing. They all ran out. They saw the smoke. What I thought it was interesting is you go through this document towards the end, they keep calling it a meteor. And the reason why I find that very interesting, because he told everybody, all of these people said what it looked like. It did not look like a meteor. I'm finding it kind of interesting because, gee, what's been happening a lot lately, Jim? Oh my, there was another meteor, right? Well, there was an earthquake near Florida. There was another meteor in Massachusetts. Oh yeah, meteors. One in Ohio, meteors. But wait a minute now. NASA talks out of both sides of their mouth. Oh, well, we can track these things. Or most of these have been going on forever. They just go over the ocean. Well, why aren't they going over the ocean now? And why, with the amount of technology that you have, Hubble telescope and all Mars rover and all of these things that you have, you can't pinpoint where the meteors are and where they're coming from. And if you see, you don't have it in sight that one is coming hurtling towards Earth.
Also in this file is a letter, the letter I'm showing right now. At the end, the writer says, the writer begs to call attention to the fact that the time prior to and just after inferior conjunction and Venus are prolific in reports of strange things seen in the sky. Also that lights have been reported on the moon from time to time back for at least a century. If in the future of military experiment the moon is selected as a base for the launching of rockets, which has been suggested by some writers, it may be well to look first into reports like this one on the explosion over Norcator and the direction of the object involved. There is a possibility, however remote this may seem, that the moon is either inhabited or in use by other than human beings.
Also, in this document, the Phantom Reef on November 24th, 1947, the Navy denied that it had found a phantom reef or other obstruction to navigation at a point 400 miles west of San Francisco. The Navy survey ship Maury sent out there in response to reports of ships that some huge object had been seen in the water in that neighborhood. And then
there's just a lot of smoke. There's a lot of smoke. I mean, there's a lot of smoke here.
Nobody's talking about about these things. I'm so sorry. I just don't get it. But
well, here's another one. Let's bring this one up. This is PDF 2, I believe, is what we're looking at now. And this goes back to the European theater. If you remember your history, the war in Europe, World War II, ended in early May of 1945. So this was in March, a couple of months before the end of the war. And basically, this file talks about a lot what they used to call Foo Fighters. And this was reported by pilots during the Second World War. They would see these strange lights and things. It's interesting, this file we're looking at now, point 2 says the Air Ministry, I'm assuming that's the British Air Ministry, I'm guessing, view is that a few of the alleged aircraft may have been Me-262s. By the way, that was the first jet combat aircraft, and that was invented by the Germans, the Messerschmitt 262. And for the rest, flak rockets are suggested as the most likely explanation. So already they're trying to explain this away. But if you go down, they're talking about balls of fire, red balls of fire here. Bomber command crews have for some time been reporting similar phenomena. A few of the alleged aircraft may have been Messerschmitt 262, and for the rest, flak rockets. Okay, that's the same thing. I wanted to find this here because long cylindrical objects, okay? And I could see those maybe being rockets. I mean, the Germans were really expert at rocketry, and actually Operation Paperclip, look it up. That's how the United States became so good at rockets with Wernher von Braun, and eventually got us to the moon. So they did have rockets, but it seems like the descriptions don't fit their explanations, because later on, if you go here we go. No, that's not the one. There was another one here. And I mean, this is so obtuse, you have to kind of look through it. So right here.
Yep.
Photos of long cylindrical objects taken by 67 tactical pilots vicinity were unsuccessful. Full written report. So it sounds like they tried to take pictures of it and they couldn't get the pictures, is what it sounds like. Here we go. Pilots report following an aluminum-colored cylinder shaped object about 12 feet long and 1 foot in diameter observed floating in the air. What rockets float in the air? At 9,000 feet. It appeared to be suspended vertically with small fins and a mast. Now, a rocket could have fins. That would make sense. But projecting from the lower end, the object was attacked and partially deflated. A red flame resulted without smoke. The cylinder did not disintegrate. Now, if you shot down a rocket, wouldn't it disintegrate? There's more here. Because they're talking about, okay, that's more of the same. But look at this stuff. I mean, there's about seeing something with colors. Right here. There is no information at this headquarters which might explain the nature and cause of the lights and other phenomena described by the pilots of the squadron. And this was by the Air Staff Supreme Headquarters Allied Expeditionary Force. And I mean, we're talking, high-level people that were doing these kind of things. I wanted to find the one. There was one here. Here we go. We have encountered a phenomenon which we cannot explain. Crews have been followed by lights that blink on and off, changing colors. Now, a rocket, does it have changing color lights? The lights come very close and fly in formation with our planes. Would rockets fly in formation with planes? Would, if it were an enemy aircraft, would it fly in formation with your planes? I don't think so. They are agitating and keep the crews on edge when they encounter them, mainly because they cannot explain them. It is requested further information be furnished on the subject, such as similar experiences of other night units. So to me, that's like, yeah, maybe some of them were jets, maybe some of them were rockets, but maybe some of them were something else. Right here we go. In vicinity of Erstein, flying at 1,000 feet, observed large red light at 2,000 feet, going east at 1,840 hours, traveling at approximately 200 miles an hour. This one here, observed 5 or 6 flashing red and green lights in T-shape. Thought they were flak. About 10 minutes later, saw the same lights much closer and behind me. So it's like something is almost toying with them, almost messing with them. Here, yellow streaks. Made starboard vector lost altitude and streaks disappeared from view. Blah, 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 blah. Noticed several groups of lights off port while patrolling in vicinity. I mean, this goes on, and then they say, well, you don't have enough information, and then somebody comes out with very detailed information. It's just really amazing how much we're getting here.
1945.
But again, nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's just a big joke. It's just a big hoax.
I want you guys to see, do you see how you have to comb through all of this stuff? Like, nobody in the mainstream media is going to have time or want to bother with this because they just think it's all kooky and, you know,
exactly.
what anyway.
Exactly. So
excrement, basically.
And proving it's not all from 1945. This next one's from Greece, January 2024. Is that right?
2024. It's a video footage.
Let's take a look.
Yeah. So it goes side by side to start. If you look on the right side, you're going to see something. There it is, going through the clouds. So they're gonna switch to
a closer camera, different lens. Yeah.
Yes, because they have different sensor modalities. It was aboard a U.S. military platform. So they're finding this light, or what they don't know what it is really. It was diamond shaped and moving at approximately 434 knots. It was only detectable via shortwave infrared sensor.
Mm-hmm. Now, I will say this. Let me play devil advocate on this one. This looks a little like a balloon to me.
Well, you know what? That's interesting, Jim, because some of the files, and I don't know if I put another one in there, some of them do look like a balloon. They do. But I think, how much longer is on this video? Because is this the one that just...
No, that's it. That's basically it.
Okay. Because one of them moves very erratically. So what we've always said and what our points are, I mean, Jim, I think you could agree with me. Not everything.
Right. Is
not
little green
everything.
men or some unexplained thing. Some things.
Or from out of this world. Not everything.
Right. And that's the thing. I think we have intellectual honesty. I mean, if it looks like a balloon to me, I'm not going to say, ooh, it's little green men. You know.
But here's a question, Jim. If it were a balloon, wouldn't they know? Couldn't they tell you what it was? Right? I mean, they're saying
they should, unless it were enemy. Unless, like the Chinese, supposedly. I still wonder what that was all about.
Would it be a diamond-shaped balloon?
Yeah,
it could,
maybe not.
But I don't know. I don't know. I just question because, I mean, we know they're not transparent with us. They're never going to be fully transparent. And we don't expect full transparency because we do have to have secrets. We do have to protect our security of our country. But I don't know. Don't you think if they knew it was a balloon, they would just go ahead and say it was a balloon? I mean, they tried to say some of the other stuff was balloons.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
We have another one here. And this is another recent one, October 2023, from the United Arab Emirates, and it was recorded from a U.S. military platform. They don't say what, but you probably
infrared sensor.
Right. Let's take a look at this one. Now, this one, you have to go a little ways. I'm going to go in.
You do have to go away, yes, because it's a 4 minute and 57-second video. It doesn't start happening, I think, until like, I can't remember what they were saying. So that's the other thing, guys. You have to really like...
Yeah, you could start watching. There it is. There it is. See it going across? And then...
But then look, it went back.
Right.
Jim, it turned on a dime and went back.
That doesn't look like a balloon to me. It's moving very purposely. See how it comes back?
It's going back and forth. And then it's going to go up and down, too. It's going to do some weird... See, look.
Yeah.
How fast? Whoa. I don't know. I'm not an expert. I don't know. Basically, you guys know I know less probably than most of you people do about this stuff. But
it's all over the place.
Just as a common person, how can you not look at that and say, well, what the heck is that?
Yeah,
and how come they don't know what it is?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it were some kind of like...
Because it's probably not from this world, and that's okay. See, that's the thing that bothers me. Why can't you just say, we don't know what it is? We don't.
Yeah.
But that's okay. You don't know. I think I mentioned this somewhere. When you don't know an answer to something, don't you guys appreciate professionals that say, you know what, I don't know, but let me research it. Let me find out for you. I did it all the time as a speech language pathologist. When there was something that I ran across that I wasn't sure of, or I think I only had basic rudimentary knowledge of, how about what I would tell the patient or the client, you know what? I am not fully schooled in this, but I am going to get the information and I'm going to come back to you with it. And I would. And I would appreciate that from our government, from anybody. And everybody should demand that, whether it's medical, business, anything. You know what? Let's start being honest. You don't have to pretend you know everything. It's okay not to know everything. Not everybody does. But when you fake it and make these claims, it's a balloon. Well, you don't know it's a balloon. You just don't know what it is. And that's okay.
Well, the next one is Department, if I'm right, Story 6, Department of the Army. Here's another video we can take a look at. And
I'm yelling.
You can give folks the context.
It's a minute 49 video from, an infrared sensor aboard a U.S. military platform.
Now, I believe that's a drone. But you see that thing fly? Yeah, you see that thing fly through there? Go ahead.
But I was just going to say, well, look. But then it changes into two lights.
But see, now that to me looks like the afterburners.
You said you could do that.
Now, let me ask you this.
But look at how fast. A drone can, maybe drones can't do that.
No, that's not a drone. Let's go back and look at it again. Let's start from the beginning again.
Okay.
That's a drone. That's a drone. But the thing flying through the top is not a drone.
Right.
Okay, now, but when it comes back, it almost looks like to me like the afterburners of a jet. But I guess it's not. It does,
but why is it moving sideways?
Unless it's the camera moving.
Sideways? Camera's not moving.
Yeah, it's very odd. And it's kind of sinister looking. Yeah, at first I thought but you're saying that's the UAP, that's the UFO.
Yes.
That's kind of terrifying, actually. It kind of looks like it's looking at you, like, be careful what you look for.
You know what else is sad about this? This is our government. This is our military that have these reports of things. These are servicemen and women who are like you and me. They're just doing their job and they're out there and they don't know what they're coming across. And how many people on the ground have seen these and they've been made to feel like, oh, you're a freaking idiot. You don't, that's nothing. You're just, it's an airplane. Go back to bed.
Ooh, they were spooky. It was really close looking at it.
I don't mean to laugh, but no, I get annoyed with that. It's like, let's not just discount people, and the military is working hard and they're coming across this stuff and they're not getting any information. Who knows what they're even being exposed to with some of this stuff? I mean, I don't know.
Now the next story is interesting from the standpoint. Look how much is redacted. This is from the FBI on September blank 2023 blank. They
tell you on war.gov.ufo that names and important information sometimes for privacy have been redacted.
So we're just looking through this, and
it's a person's story that they submitted. Right. Cigar-shaped object with an extremely bright light.
The object was almost hovering, slowly moving from east to west. The light was an intense diamond white light with what appeared to be a ring around the light and located on the eastern end of the object. The object was metallic bronze in color and the length of 2 or 3 Black Hawk helicopters lined up nose to tail. And the subject was initially annoyed when she saw the object because she had restricted the ranges for the test they were going to conduct that morning. But then she realized the object was not an aircraft or a drone. So what in the world is it? And who is this individual they're referencing? See, you don't know who she is because it's all blocked out.
Right. But no, wait, go up a minute, because I thought it said they interviewed blank of the office and blank in building, and supervisor sat in on the interview. So it's somebody who works in the military.
Right, I understand that. Yeah. But I mean,
but you're
beyond
not
that.
Who.
Yeah, or even what her
I don't have that big of a problem. Function would have been nice. Yeah. I don't need to know her name. I understand. You know how she would be portrayed. She'd lose her job. Look at the whistleblowers, Jim. But I thought it's interesting that they released that.
Yeah, I think we have. Hold on, I think I need.
There's a bunch of pages to this. That's serial 3, serial 4, and serial 5.
Okay, this seems.
It looks like it's the same. It's not. Just keep going down.
Okay, that's what's confusing me. They all look the same.
Yeah, you need to go down. You guys don't know. No, unless you do. Unless you've gone on the site and you've tried to navigate.
So this is a different person. This is a different person.
Yeah.
He'd been an blank
via
since,
FaceTime.
and it had 10 to 15 hours as a drone and been interviewed via FaceTime. That's the confusion. They all look the same.
September was at blank with 3 other contractors
for LiDAR tests. 5 of them got blah, 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 with as her passenger. Saw a linear object with a super bright light on the east side of the object. The light was bright white and bright enough to see bands with the object was metallic gray in color. Very consistent, right? I mean, bronze, the other person, but they did say it was metallic. Didn't have any wings or exhaust. The object was smaller than a 737, 1 to 2 Black Hawk helicopters in length. Definitely bigger than a drone, approximately 5,000 feet above ground level, and moved east to west parallel to the ground. So very consistent, and these are obviously trained military people, right? So they're not like
or contractors
yahoos.
that works closely with the military. Yes, our government.
And I'm trying to see, is this the same one?
I think if you go all the way down, there's a third.
Yeah, I think this is a different one.
And then it meant enough for the FBI to come up with a sketch of it.
That's it. Yeah, that's the boy.
That's the FBI sketch.
They spent a long time on that one. Did they make that in Microsoft Paint?
It looks like AI to me. I don't know. When I saw this as a release document, I was laughing. I'm sorry.
It looks like the first generation of AI or something. Yeah.
Composite sketch.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's interesting that they did that, right?
Yeah.
Why?
On this next one, Dar, do you want to do the video first, and then we can delve into the transcript a little bit?
We could do the video because you'll hear them talking. So this is to set this up. This is Gemini 7.
Right,
so,
and you're going to hear
1965.
Yeah,
right?
And you're going to hear mission control a bit. We might. This is lengthy, so we might jump around a little bit. But let's get it started.
Gemini control here again. Earlier in the flight, you'll recall at the start of the second revolution, we had a reference to several objects that the crew spotted. This was in the area of Antigua. Due to a mechanical breakdown, we did not have that portion of the tape available for you. This was a line breakdown between Building 30 and our news center in Building 6. Since then, we have dubbed a tape off the master tape here in the control center, and we are now prepared to play it for you. It contains references to sighting not only some particles, but as well as an unidentified object, plus the booster. Here's that tape. We'll play it for you now.
Hi, Gemini 7 here, Houston 98.
Loud and clear. 7, go ahead.
Bogey at 10 o'clock high.
Bogey at 10 o'clock high.
Yep.
This is Houston. Say again, 7.
Say what?
Roger.
No response.
Gemini 7, is that the booster or is that an actual sighting?
An actual sighting.
Say again, 7.
Okay, we have several, looks like the 3 up here, actual sighting.
You have any more information, estimated distance or size?
We also have the booster in sight.
Understand you also have the booster in sight, Roger.
And we have very, very many, it looks like hundreds of little particles going by to the left out about 3 to 4 miles.
Understand you have many small particles going by on the left. At what distance?
4 miles. Large, looks like perhaps a vehicle that's disintegrated.
Roger, understand they're about 3 to 4 miles away.
They're past now, they're going to polar orbit.
Roger, and understand they were about 3 to 4 miles away.
Trying to appear, Mike. Or further.
Roger. Gemini 7, Houston, were these particles in addition to the booster and the bogey at 10 o'clock high? Roger.
7, Houston, this is 7.
Go ahead.
I have the booster on my side as a brilliant body in the sun against a black
A brilliant body.
Billions of particles around it.
Particles around
Roger,
it.
what direction is it from you?
It's about at my 2 o'clock position.
Does that mean it's ahead of you?
It's affirmative. Ahead of us, 2 o'clock, slowly tumbling.
Roger.
And we'll let them finish out what they have to say here.
Because we could always go to the transcript and read some more. Because
Right.
it goes on.
Right. Yep. Yeah, it's one of those things where, there's some more context here, but here's actual transcript we're going to show you. Now, here's the thing. It's interesting because you see Houston up here, and you get the feeling like they want to kind of peg it as part of the booster rocket, or
correct,
or is that a natural sighting? And basically say,
what?
No, that's basically what I think they're saying.
Yeah.
And because they said they have with a booster in the site. And then Frank Borman, by the way, went on to become the head of Eastern Airlines. So not a lightweight. So we have a very, very many, it looks like hundreds of little particles going by to the left out about 3 or 4 miles. And it seems like Houston wants to keep putting it in a box, and they're like, no, there's something really weird going on here. And that it's interesting. Gemini 7, Houston says, were these particles in addition to the booster and the bogey at 10 o'clock high? Jim Lovell, who, if you remember Apollo 13, that movie, the Tom Hanks movie, Jim Lovell was the captain of that particular mission that was aborted, and it was very heroic, and they figured out how to fix it, and they came back save it. So Jim Lovell was very well respected. So you had Borman and Lovell here. Lovell says back to Houston, Roger, I have the booster on my side, and I believe what he's talking about is the other thing. It's a brilliant body in the sun against a black background with trillions of particles on it. So here you have very credible men, very credible people saying, we are seeing something unidentified. And I mean, these guys to me were very scientifically bent, and they're pretty smart. If it's particles coming off of their ship, they're going to kind of know that. I think they're going to know that. And I think that Houston was trying to say, well, isn't it just a natural sighting, kind of thing? And it's like, no, it's not natural.
Because they didn't know what it was, Jim. Houston didn't know what it was. Nobody knew what it was, basically. And that's scary. You think about it. Now, I just thought when we were listening to this, I'm like, well, we could play devil's advocate. Could it have been some kind of satellite that was put up there by another country and it exploded and there was particles, or I don't know, just playing devil's advocate. I don't know if anything had been able to be launched in that year by Russia, or I don't know who else would have been able to do so.
Yeah, I don't
it's curious. So. And if you guys go to the site, I pulled the Gemini 7. There's a bunch of others. Jim's gonna talk about right now. We're gonna talk about Apollo 12, but there's a bunch of other documents in for other missions that have been done, and it seems like a lot of stuff's been happening with these missions. So it makes you wonder: is that why we haven't been on the moon? Did something happen? They didn't release those documents, right? Maybe something happened on the moon way back in '69. We don't know about it, right?
Maybe.
And that's
well.
Why
There's one theory that
years.
They were some. There was. We said this on a paranormal report a couple weeks ago. There was a Japanese researcher who claimed that he knew one of the astronauts. I'm blanking on which one it was. Maybe it was. Oh, I'm blanking on who it was. Gordon something. Gordon, can't remember his name.
Can't remember.
But anyway, the point is that this Japanese researcher said they were told not to go back to the moon. So who knows? Don't get in the way of our experiments. Well, look at that first
document we were reading with that box incident. The guy ended
said they may be on the moon.
Lights.
Yeah, might be on the moon and all that. Well, this, I believe, is from the LEM, the lunar module. if I'm reading this correct, and again, I'm not a NASA expert, but this one exchange, Roger, when you look at out the AOT, I'm assuming that's their window, in the dark quadrant, you can see these lights, particles of light, flashes of light. And by the way, this is from Apollo 12, another moon mission. Particles of light, flashes of light just seem to come from, in this case, I'm looking in quadrant 1, which is the left one. It's coming from behind me, the left, and they're just sailing off in space. I was thinking they were dropping from my water boiler, but it looks like some of these things are escaping the moon. They really haul out of here and just press off at the stars.
Haul out of here. I like
I bet.
that.
I wonder if he really said they haul ass. I'm just wondering that. But I don't know that for a fact. But I wonder if it was like, light profanity. They really haul out of here and just press off at the stars. Think about that. It looks... this is the quote. It looks like some of those things are escaping the moon. That was an astronaut on Apollo 12. It looks like some of those things are escaping the moon. That's the sentence. But that's buried in document after document after document after document.
Pages and pages of things. Really, to do this justice, you probably need like 6 months every day studying every...
Yes, and they know that. They know that. It becomes a needle in a haystack. And folks, I'm sorry I'm not looking at the camera, but I'm looking at different documents
Jim
and things.
He's got a lot of moving parts.
Actually, it's going pretty well. I'm really...
I thought so, yeah. Well, that's
very impressive.
A testament to how professional you are.
Yes.
In media and technology.
So this next one...
Don't count on me for that.
Orbs launching orbs. I don't know much about this one, so take it away.
So Western U.S. event. Woohoo! So this was a document. It was a summary of statements by 7 U.S. persons employed by federal government who separately reported observing several unidentified anomalous phenomena in the western United States over the course of 2 days in 2023. The summary notes the U.S. persons reported 4 distinct categories of experiences, including observing orbs, launching other orbs at a distance, observing a large stationary glowing orb at close estimated range, pursuing a large phenomena near the ground, and observing a large, seemingly transparent phenomena reported to being akin to a translucent kite.
You're off mic. You're slightly off mic.
I know. I'm so sorry because I'm so loud, and I know people are going to start complaining about me on this episode. So, so there are 4 different. So this is the orbs, launching orbs. They describe seeing orange orbs in the sky launch smaller red orbs in groups of 2 to 4, with 3 being the general consensus. This has occurred at least 5 times. Each time the orange orb would appear, launch red orbs, and then disappear. The orange orb was only visible for 1 or 2 seconds. The red orbs would generally move away from the orange mother orb in a horizontal path, but in a couple instances, one red orb was stated to move heading up at an angle, while other witnesses stated that sometimes the red orbs would swoop down after being launched from the larger orange orb. Over a 2-day period, people have seen this. Go on down a little bit, Jim. So the large fiery orb, this is all in the western U.S., guys. This is what had happened. These are just summaries of reports that they've taken. 2 federal law enforcement special agents, USPR 5 and USPR 6. Do they say USPR or USPR? I don't know. Witnessed a glowing orange orb at a distance of approximately 500 to 600 meters when it was perched close to a rock pinnacle. Size was difficult to determine, but it appeared to be similar in size to a small helicopter cockpit. Witnesses were unable to clearly see any structure other than the glowing orb, though one of the federal special agents noted that the object did almost appear it might have been a small spindle or something connecting it from underneath to the rock formation. They stated the objects did not emit any noticeable sound, being similar to the eye or Sauron from Lord of the Rings, except without the pupil.
And again, these are federal agents.
Federal law enforcement special agents. I like the dark kite one. Also, 2 law enforcement special agents observed what is initially thought to be a car traveling along a road in a restricted zone. The, quote, car, end quote, had two lights, one red and one white, that are about 2 to 3 feet off the ground. Agents pursued the car, and as they got to within a few hundred feet of it, the object suddenly moved off the road over the desert without changing its orientation with respect to the observers, i.e. it appeared to move laterally, guys, that means side to side, at an estimated speed of 15 to 20 miles per hour. The object didn't change height and appeared to move with zero resistance. The object stopped about 100 meters off the side of the road and turned off its lights, described the object as a thin line from the back, where the other agent stated that it, quote, almost looked like an ill-defined dark kite-shaped that had some rounded width to the sides. They used night vision goggles to view the object once it had stopped off the road. They observed the object for a split second in the NVGs before the light turned off, and that once the lights were off, a very thin line remained. The object was estimated to be 4 feet wide, positioned horizontally to the ground, then began moving at the speed of 15 to 20 miles per hour and appeared to move up in height, but remain a flat line.
And here's what's interesting. What would have the ability to go that slow, 15 to 20 miles an hour? That's the thing. We usually associate all this with very quick kind of situations, very kind of quick situations. But in this case, not so. And for some reason, it's cutting part of the soft R, but you can give people a general idea of this one.
Yeah, let me see if I could pull up the rest, because this one was this one was very interesting to me, because this was the transparent kite. So about 30 minutes after the dark kite sighting, federal law enforcement special agents returned to the same general area with another colleague. So they brought another guy there, or woman, in response to a report of another unauthorized object in the area within a few hundred meters of the dark kite sighting. The two of the team members observed a kite-shaped object with a lighting pattern similar to the object seen previously. This object's about 6 meters off the ground, is canted at an angle from lower right to upper left, and so they said see the image, and then appear to be floating slowly with the wind. They was using NVGs when viewing the object, and the other agent used the bare eye. The other agent didn't see the object, the one they brought with them. The one stated in the night vision goggles they could vaguely see a bright star or two in the distance through the object, though somewhat more faint, leading them to believe the object was somewhat transparent. After losing sight of the object, the agent tried to use a spotlight to find it again. The witness noted that when shining the light around, quote, at one point my beam went from shining far into the distance to stopping about 50 yards away on nothing in particular. It was just not projecting into the distance, and then it was. When the witness pointed the light at the spot where the light had appeared to be blocked by something, this time the light was projecting into the distance again. The team was unable to reacquire sight of the object.
Sorry, that one was giving me a little trouble, but it looks like a kite. Sorry, but it looks like a long kite.
And it was transparent, so they were shining their light, and it was sometimes going through, and sometimes it was blocked, only up to like 50, what they say, 50 yards. I was like, excuse me? What's that? Yeah. That's hovering?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting. And again, credible sources. I mean, if you believe your government's credible and you believe that federal officers would be credible, there you go. Why
would they make that up? That's right. What I just want to know. To what advantage? It's not going to get them. It's not going to get them promoted. It'll probably get them fired.
Yeah. Well, here's another example.
Yes.
This says secret-no foreign, and it's got a line through it at the top. You can't barely see it. On something 2025 at approximately 1700 hours, witness one, a senior U.S. intelligence official.
Senior.
And then federal partner one, federal partner two. That almost sounds like military contract or something. Accompanied by witness two, another senior U.S. intelligence officer, and two pilots from state partner organization. And they talk about where they departed. They were doing an aerial search of a mountain range.
Daytime, yeah.
And let's see. I'm just trying to find where we really get to the meat of it. Hold on. Where do they get into it? Here they go.
They spotted
at 22:02 hours. Call sign 1 arrived at the aforementioned coordinates and spotted a possible aircraft on the horizon moving to the west. Confirmed the sighting, then relayed they spotted an orb under FLIR and described it as super hot, hovering around ground level before heading bearing redacted from LP/OP. LPOP reported the orb was headed east and south at a high rate of speed, then broke into two objects. Interesting. And then directed so-and-so to head south to intercept. There were 5 military aircraft doing a training mission. Once on station, they search a location with FLIR, NVG. These are different kinds of radar and so forth. And the naked eye, but did not locate the orb. LPOP reported the orb gained elevation, came within 10 feet of call sign 1, and then headed east to redacted. Call sign 1 moved to intercept, but LPOP reported the orb continued southeast and estimated to be past the road name, some 20 miles from the current position at call sign 1, and unable to match speed, broke off pursuit. However, the co-pilot reports seeing under NVG something emerge from the two objects and then travel in a different direction in a high rate of speed. So it was 1, it split off to 2, and then there was a third object that came out of it, apparently.
Read this next paragraph.
22:18 hours. Remained at coordinates awaiting instructions when pilots, NVG and Witness 1, naked eye, spotting a swarm of lights, too many to count, moving in all directions but generally located west of such and so, and headed south. JOC relayed they contacted the military aircraft who were en route to assist. ETA 2 minutes. 22:27 hours. Call sign 1 lost visual of the swarm. And it just keeps on. Like, for example, later on, from the naked eye perspective, the two orbs appeared to flare up and remain stationary side by side. They appeared to be oval shape, orange in color with a white-yellow center and emitting light in all directions. That reminds me of that very first video we saw. After a few seconds, a third orb flared up between the two. I think this might, I don't know if this is recalling what the other people saw, but it sounds very familiar to what we talked about a couple paragraphs ago. And then another one below that until there were 4 or 5 in total below the original 2. So this thing just is able to split off anyway. I mean, it just, you know, we could go on and on and on, but I mean, this is just, this is just amazing. And these are from, this is not Fred with his little Cessna, you know, the weekend doctor who decided,
but even if it
is going to get, but the point is, I just don't know how you can look at all this and say there's no there there. There's something going on. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's spiritual. I don't know if it's ETs. I don't know if it's adversarial governments, although I highly doubt it, because if other governments had this much more capability than we did, I have 2 thoughts on military experimentation. Well, 3 thoughts. First of all, they definitely have things we don't know about, and they should.
Absolutely.
That's understandable.
Yes.
Do they have things that have these characteristics? I don't think so, because we wouldn't be bogged down in Iran now if we did, right? You could rule the sky. I mean, you could absolutely do anything you wanted to do. So, and other wars, and not just this. I'm not picking on one administration or another. Afghanistan, all these conflicts over the years. Why do we get bogged down in these things if we have this super technology? The truth is, I don't think we do. I think it's something else.
I don't think anyone has the super technology,
I don't think
Jim.
so either. But
I mean, if you want to look at the war with Russia and Ukraine, if Russia had it, don't you think they would just obliterate Ukraine in 2 seconds?
And if China had it, they'd take over Taiwan tomorrow.
So they don't have it. And that's why all of this is considered UAP or UFO, unidentified. They don't know what it is. They don't know what it is.
Well, here, this next exhibit.
Perfect
this
example.
This is Exhibit A. We call it the BS example. Here's some of the files, some of the fun files that we got. Okay?
So when you go and click on some of the files, that's what you get. You get a giant 1.4 parentheses A.
Yeah, like Exhibit A, 1.4 Exhibit A or whatever that means.
And when you click on some of the files, and I tried to click on them different days and whatever, I thought, well, maybe it's my computer, but why was I able to access all the other ones? I don't know, but a lot of times you got these. And I said, again, I think there's at least 3, I know 3 pages at least. And then look, they start to get into something.
And it's all redacted.
But then that's it. That's all. It's all redacted. Description. And it says observed. And that was it. So you can't read. You don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So why'd you release this? Because it's garbage.
What good's this?
So there were a lot of files like that. And like I said, at least 3 pages of photos, just photos of stuff. And you could barely see it. It's grainy. There's no real explanation. I just find it, like I said earlier, I find it funny that they're always willing to spoon feed us information, but not with this stuff. This stuff, you better.
No, they just want to overwhelm.
And I appreciate
it's flood the zone. It's flood the zone. It's flood the zone.
It is flood the zone. And they knew the media wasn't going to sit and sift through any of this. They don't care. We didn't lie. We released the documents.
And I don't even think they released the best documents. Now, people would,
of course they didn't release.
People will say there's more to come. There's more to come, but come on.
Well,
so the way you do this, guys, the way you do this, if you want to disclose, is you have the president come on, regardless of party.
They don't want to
say,
do that.
Look, we have evidence that there's something going on. Here's some prime examples of why we believe that. And they bring on a scientist and they explain who, what, when, where this was taken, why you think this is anomalous, and you show the material. You just don't flood the zone with a lot of redacted documents and things. And they did this because they felt they had to release a pressure valve. And I firmly believe where we're going to be a year from now. Because right now, right this minute, with this movie coming out tomorrow.
The pinnacle, right?
That's right. This is the most attention this is going to get.
Yes.
So now would be the time for it to come out. And I'm telling you, it's not going to come out. What's going to happen is the movie's going to come out. I don't think it's going to do that well because I think the mainstream media is against the message.
They're already trying to not make it do well. I read a
they're
few
trying
articles
to down
talking
talk
about,
it.
Well, Spielberg,
it's not going to do so well. He's old.
The young demographic's not going to go.
Yeah. I think they're trying to down talk it. They're trying to down talk it. There'll be another release or two. There might be some releases over this summer. They're always on a Friday. Maybe. I mean, look. This wasn't big news anywhere else about the congressman on Capitol Hill talking about this. It's news.
No, I had
basically,
a hard time
it's News Nation and the internet.
Yeah.
It's
there
not,
was the Independent reported it, but no, I found nothing from CNN, not even Fox News. Sometimes they do some stuff. No, forget the other ones.
This is more of the same. You'll notice in the history of UFOs, there have been periods, maybe not to this extent, where there seems to be progress. And then it just gets shut down. And that's what's going to happen here. I'm sorry, guys. That's what I think.
Well, this was all release 1. Release 2, I did check. I started going through some of it. There was a story we had I thought was interesting because there was something over Columbus, Ohio. Stay tuned. But very interesting what they did with release 2 now. If you go to click on it, they have 6 or 7 featured files, which they did not have at the first release. So now there are featured files. So those are the ones I guess you're supposed to pay more attention to. I did not have a chance to click on a lot of those. I don't know why those are featured. It's kind of interesting why those are featured now. But also, again, another 15, 16, 23, I think, pages of let me see, because 16 pages in release 1. Oh, only 7. I'm sorry. Only 7 pages in release 2. But there's things from Mercury Atlas 8, some more dual AEPs, Gulf of Arabia, Persian Gulf stuff. So there are additional files, but like Jim said, they're not organized. They're not, and you really have to go through them. You have to download them because you can't even really see the file unless you download it. So we were a little concerned, but Jim said it's the government. That doesn't mean anything in my opinion, but we could still get. I'm also the conspiracy theory mind.
Who downloaded them? Who downloaded them? You don't think we're on a list? You don't think we're on a list?
We're on a list, but we're so inconsequential to them. We're like little ants. They don't care about us. We're not Joe Rogan.
We just talk. That's all we do. Which
true. I'm kind of shocked about. Doesn't he usually like to stir the pot with stuff? But he didn't talk about it.
Well, I haven't seen any. I gotta be honest. I haven't watched any of his recent episodes.
Well, I don't watch anything.
I don't think I've watched one of his episodes for a year. I think the last time I watched one of his episodes was Hal Putoff was there talking about UFOs.
I watch cruise YouTubers.
I have my hobbies too. And,
la la la. I'm happier sometimes not knowing stuff. But
well, if you like this, let us know if you like this. This is a lot of work to put this together, and I don't even think we did as good a job as we could do, but it's very painstaking. And we wanted to get a show out, and we were on vacation, and we were sick. Yeah, we took turns of who's. And the funny thing is, you're okay now, and I still have it lingering. You're mainly okay.
Well, yeah, I had mine has switched over to allergies. So on Monday,
but last week you were worse than me, and now I'm worse than you. And then I said this on behind the scenes, but I got another little health thing going on. I'm dealing with nothing that's going to kill me. But something's got to be dealt with, and
it does. It's concerning, in my opinion.
Well,
I mean,
it theoretically could kill me, but I don't think it's going to. Knock on wood.
It better not. Yeah. Hey, I've talked to the big man. He's not allowed. First of all, I'm supposed to die first. There we go.
Oh God.
It's all settled.
All right. On that happy note.
Well, stay tuned. We will have regular news stories next week. But like Jim said, if you really enjoyed this and you would like us to do it again, do you want us to do it with release 2 and anything else that comes down the pike? We will try.
Yeah. We're not promising when.
No.
But we're going to do a couple of regular shows first.
But I encourage you guys, if you have a few minutes, it does take some time, and you've got to know what you're reading, and you've got to kind of decipher things. I tried to pick some of the better
Dar did a great
things.
job collating all those.
It's hard. So if I missed something that you guys really liked, I'm sorry. Yeah. I tried. Because and like I said, and each thing is just, like when you go to the site, it'll just say DOW-UAP-PRO76, January 2021. Mm-hmm. What the heck is this? And then you think, okay, January 21, what's next? If you look down, DOW-UAP-PRO77, November 2nd, 2020. So they're not in order. It's crazy.
Well, with that, we will let you go. But thank you so much. Thanks for your patience. And the show will proceed as normally every week. We should be back next Wednesday. Even this was a day late this week. But next week, barring any unexpected situations, we'll be back next Wednesday with a regular edition of the Paranormal Report. We thank you for your support. And we hope you continue to tune in. And remember, people get so confused. It is the Paranormal Report, not the Paranormal Podcast. Somebody today said, there's not been another Paranormal Podcast. And I'm like, I just put one out Tuesday. What are you talking about? It's like, I mean the one you do with Dar. It's like, nobody cares about
And we know it gets confusing because of the name. So just think of podcast is where Jim is interviewing experts, and report is where I'm screaming into the mic.
Exactly. So, you got it. Now's the time to dance.
I wore alien green, which
there you
is
go. Very
a
good.
misnomer anyway.
Take me to your leader. Bye.